Hello, class. It is the beginning of week 11, and I'm here to talk to you about this week. And so I know that sometimes things happen that are scary and that we didn't see coming, but in this particular case, we just have to face our fears. And I'm speaking, of course, about cataloging. Did you think I meant something else? Okay, not even talking about that. So, cataloging. This is the perfect opportunity to clear your mind of anything else that might be going on in the world. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention myself. Anyway, so cataloging. I actually really like it. I find it interesting. I like this book, Catalog It. It explains everything clearly. There are some big changes. The biggest of which, from the previous iteration of this, the most obvious change is, well, not to you, but to me, is the resource description and access, the RDA. There's a lot of talk about that in cataloging this time around, and Catalog It that wasn't there last time. So that's really new to me. But it's just a really good overview of how school library cataloging is used. You know, the history, what we use it for, how we use it, what all the stuff means. What I've done, even though from a page perspective, it's not that there's so much reading, but it's dense. And if you're not familiar with cataloging, it can really it can be a rough go. If you're already cataloging, this is going to be the easiest 2 weeks of your life because a lot of this is stuff that you kind of already have a beat on. Anyway, so I've split it into 2 different sections. For week 1, it says it in the content, and of course I didn't leave it in notes here. For week 1, you're doing pages, you're doing from the beginning to page 101. And then for week 12, you're going to do page 103 up until you get to the appendices, and you can look at those if you want. There are some exercises in the book. I would urge you to take a look at the exercises, and if they make sense to you and you can work them through, then you're golden. And if not, you can always go back and the book will explain, sort of what you're looking at. So this is actually the same content for weeks 11 and 12. It's the same thing. It's just that I've split it in half because I don't want you to just have to read this whole book in 1 week because it's a lot. Also, the holidays, Thanksgiving's coming up. You're going to need to make turkey or find someone to let you eat turkey at their house. So I put in some optional reading, which you may not get to this week. You might get to it next week, or you might just blow it off. It's your call. A couple of things about Dewey and, genrefying. I know a couple of you have genrefied your collections. It kind of speaks to that. It's not as big a deal probably in elementary school. I think it's almost becoming the norm. And everybody does it a little bit. Anyway, there's articles about that if you want to use that for fodder for discussion. Frankly, if you want to take your blog post and post that into the discussion and see if anybody bites, that's fine too. So your blog post and your discussion is all of the, all of the actual product that you have to do. Starting week 13, we're going to be looking at OPACs, and you're going to need to, and this is in the content, but I'll say it here too, you're going to need to find a librarian to interview. If you are a librarian and you have an OPAC system, you can look at that. Basically, you're going to interview a librarian who's looking at one OPAC system, and then you're going to investigate another one, a secondary one, online or through, talking to somebody else, and you're going to compare the two for your sort of final project. And it'll all be written out in week 13 and 14, which hopefully I'm going to have put up today because I am feeling like I'm going to get stuff done today. So that's it. This is it for weeks 11 and 12. I'm just going to post the same the same content for both weeks. But that's all there is. I hope you have a nice Thanksgiving, and I will see you on the discussion boards. Bye.